everyone, you welcome to my Java course for beginners to experts. In today's lecture, we are going to learn loops in Java. Loops in Java. So what is loops? In programming language, loops are used to execute a set of instructions or statements repeatedly when some condition become true. There are three types of loops in Java. So basically what loops works, loops execute the set of statement repeatedly, means again and again, till then one condition is not false, the loop is continuously executed. So basically there are three types of loop: for loop, while loop and do while loop. Java for loop. So what is Java for loop? The Java for loop is used to iterate a part of program several times. If the number of iteration is fixed, it is recommended to use for loop. If we want to execute the piece of code when the number is fixed, means if we know how many times we have to execute set of blocks, then we go for the for loop. There are three types of for loops in Java. Number one, simple for loop. Number two, forage or enhanced for loop. Number three, labeled for loop. Java simple for loop. A simple for loop is the same as C or C++. We can initialize the variable, check the condition, and increment and decrement value. It consists of four parts. Number first part, initialization. Initialization. It is the initial condition which is executed once when the loop starts. Here we can initialize the variable. Number two, condition. It is the second condition or second part which is executed each time to test the condition of the loop. It continues execution until the condition is false. It must return boolean value either true or false. Number third part is statement. The statement of the loop is executed each time until the condition is false. Number fourth part is increment and decrement. It increments or decrements the variable value. So the syntax for loop is for, then initialization. Here we initialize the variable value. Then condition. So this condition is checked every time. Then increment and decrement. These are the three part of the for loop. And fourth part is statement. So how for loop works? First we initialize the variable value. Second, it check the condition. If condition is true, it execute the statements of for block. Then it increase or decrease the variable value. Then again it check the condition. If condition is true, it execute the set of code. Again it increment or decrement the variable value and check the condition. If condition is true, it execute the block of code. So this process happened again and again until this condition is not false. As this condition is false, the control comes out from the for loop. So initialization is the one time process. Only once we initialize the variable. Condition is always check. Execution is always check, and increment and decrement is always check. So there is only one time activity which is initialization. So this is a flow chart for loop. Initialization, then check the condition. If condition is true, then execute the statement, then increment and decrement the value, then again check the condition, then increment decrement the value, then again goes to condition and check the condition. If the condition is true, then execute the statement. If the condition is false, it comes out from the for loop. So comes out from for loop. So here is an example for loop. So what we are doing in this example, we are creating a Java program to demonstrate the example of for loop, which prints table of 1. So what we are doing in this example, we are printing counting from 1 to 10. So just we create a class for example public static void main method, and we are defining a for loop for int I equal to 1. Int I equal to 1. So here we are initializing the variable I with value 1. Then we are checking the condition I less than equal to 10. I less than equal to 10. Then I plus plus, and always we are printing the value of I. So how this loop will work? First, the output of this loop will be, it will print the number from 1 to 10. But how it will work? First, I equal to 1. It will check the condition. The value of I is 1. 1 less than equal to 10. Condition is true. It print the value of I. So it will print 1. 1. Now it increment the value of I by 1. So the value of I will become 2. Now 2 less than equal to 10, condition is true. So again it print the value of I, which is 2. Now the value of I is 2. Again control comes to increment condition, and it will increase the value of I plus 1, which is, now the value of I will be 3. Now again it will check the condition 3 less than equal to 10. Condition is true. So it will print the value of I, which is 3. So in this way, this for loop will be executed. Once it is value of I will become 10. So it after the printing 10, it will goes to I plus plus. Now the value of I is 11. It will check the condition 11 less than equal to 10, which is false. So control comes out from this for loop. So after printing from 1 to 10, the for loop control comes out from the loop. So I hope you understand how for loop works. Let's show you on Eclipse IDE. So first we are creating a class. This is our project. Here we are creating a new class. Right click on the project, new class. Here we are defining a class name for example. Check the public static void main method, then finish. Okay. So we are defining a for loop for int initializing variable I 0, I less than equal to 10. Actually we have to print from 1 to 10, so we are initializing I with 1. I less than equal to 10, then I plus plus. So control space bar and enter. and here we are printing the value of I, then Control S. Now run this program. So you can see the output 1 to 10. So the 1 to 10 is printed. Now go for the next loop, Java nested for loop. What is Java nested for loop? If we have a for loop inside the other loop, it is known as nested for loop. The inner loop executes completely whenever outer loop executes. Java nested for loop. Here is an example of Java nested for loop. We have created a class with the name nested for example. Create a main method, public static void main. Here we are creating a for loop for int I equal to 1, I less than equal to 3, I plus plus. Within this for loop, we are creating another for loop and initializing int j equal to 1, j less than equal to 3 and j plus plus. And in the inner loop, we are printing the value of I and j. But in the inner loop, outer loop will execute one time for one condition I equal to 1. Then control comes for inner loop. For outer loop, for one condition, inner loop will execute completely. So for I equal to 1, inner loop will execute for 3 times. Again, when the inner loop will complete, control goes to the outer loop and increase the value of I and check the condition. If condition is true, then again it comes to the inner loop and again this inner loop will execute 3 times. Again again the control comes out from the inner loop, again it goes to the outer loop and check the condition. Until the outer loop condition is not false, it will execute inner loop as well. So if you run this program, you will get the output like this. How is it coming? Let's understand. For I equal to 1, here I value is 1. I value is 1. Now condition is true. I 1 less than equal to 3. Control comes for inner for loop. Here we have initialized value of j with 1. Condition check, 1 less than equal to 3, value is true. Print the value of I and j. At this time, value of I is 1, value of j is 1. So the output is 1 1. Again this is the inner loop from here to here. Again control goes to j plus plus and increase the value of j. Control will not go to the outer loop, control will go to inner loop. Once the inner loop is completely done, then control will go to outer loop. So here value of j will increase, so j plus plus. So here the value of j is 2. Check the condition, 2 less than equal to 3, yes. Then print the value of I and j. At this moment the value of I is 1 and value of j is 2. So the output is 1 and 2. Again it will increase the value of j, which is 3. Check the condition, 3 less than equal to 3, yes, condition is true. Then it will print the value of I and j. At this time value of I is 1 and value of j is 3. So it will print 1 and 3. Again it goes to increase j plus plus. Now j has become a 4. Check the condition, condition is false. So the control comes out from the inner block, inner for loop. Now control comes to the outer for loop. Now it will increase the value of I. I is 1 at this moment, but after the increment operator, value of I will become 2. Now 2 less than equal to 3, yes, condition is true. Again control comes for the inner loop and check I j equal to 1. Again this initialization is happened. J equal to 1. 1 less than equal to 3. 1 less than equal to 3. Condition is true. Then print the value of I and j. Here j value is 1. Again because the loop because the control has come out from the loop. So j value is initialization again for the I equal to 2. So at this moment value of I is 2 and value of j is 1. So the output will be 2 and 1. Now control will goes to the j plus plus again, increment the value of j which is 2, print the value of I and j, so value of 2 and 2. So this process will happen till I will become 4. As I will become 4, condition will false, control goes to the outer loop, out from the outer loop, control comes from outer loop. So now the output will be this. So this is the concept of the nested for loop. You can define any number of nested for loop, but you should remember you should not use much nested for loop as much as possible. This is not a good practice to use a nested for loop. You should avoid as much as possible nested for loop. So let's I show you on this program on Eclipse IDE, nested for example. So here we are creating a new class. Go to the new, then a class, nested for example. Nested for example, check the public static void main, then finish. Okay, so we are creating a for loop for int I equal to 1, I less than equal to 3, I plus plus. Okay, again we are defining a for loop for int j equal to 1, j less than equal to 3, j plus plus. So print the value of I and j. Okay, this is a program. Now run this program. This is our whole program. Now you can run this program. So the output is 1 1 1 2 1 3 2 1 2 2 2 3 3 1 3 2 and 3 3. So this is the example of nested for loop. Now go for the next for loop, Java for each loop. What is Java for each loop? Java for each loop is used to traverse array or collection in Java. It is easier to use than simple for loop because we don't need to increment. Syntax is for then type variable and array name. Type variables means which type value is array is holding, we define that type variable here. So here we can use only iterate purpose for this loop. Let's see an example of for each loop. For each example, here we create a array, int array. We are defining some number in this array and we want to print this array or we want to iterate this array by using the for each loop. By using simple for loop we also can iterate the array, but for that we have to initialize the for loop, get the length of the array, then increment and decrement. But in for each loop directly you define the int I. Why int I? Because array hold the int type values, so we define int I. If array hold the double type value, then we define here double, then variable name. If array hold the string type value, then we define string and variable name. And here just print this variable name, this I will print here. So I will print all the number of arrays. So the output of this program will be 12, 23, 44, 56 or 78. So this is a for each loop to iterate the array, and for each loop also used to iterate collections. So when we learn the collection, then I will teach you how to iterate collection by using the for each loop. So this example we are going to do in Eclipse IDE. So let's go to Eclipse IDE. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are creating a new Java class for each example, finish, shift and okay. So here we are defining int type array equal to okay. So this is a int type array we have defined. Now we have to print this array elements. So what we are going to do, for int I colon then array name, curly braces start, so control space bar, then enter I. So it is a very simple process to print the array number by the help of for each loop. So it is print the element of array. Now if we want to print the number of array by the help of simple for loop, then we let's I show you. First comments this one. So if you want to print the array number with the help of simple for loop, then we define a for int I equal to 0. We need to initialize a variable with 0. Then we get the length of array to compare how many times we have to iterate the loop. Array dot length, sorry, if I less than array dot length. Length is a variable which gives the array length in Java. Then I plus plus, then curly braces, say so, and array name and index name. What is array? How to define an array? We will learn all things about the array in section array section. Here is a simple for loop to iterate the array. Now you run this program, you will get the output. So here by the for loop and by the for each loop we are iterating the array. Now go for the next for loop. Java labeled for loop. We can have a name of each Java for loop. We can have a name of each Java for loop. To do so, we use label before the for loop. It is useful if we have nested for loop so that we can break continue specific for loop. Usually break and continue keywords breaks and continues the innermost for loop only. Basically when we are using a inner for loop, so if we take more control on the for loop, we give a name for inner loop or outer loop. So if we want to break the loop on some condition, or if we want to continue the for loop in some condition. For that purpose we use labeled for loop. So we can give the name of for loop on which for loop we want to break and which for loop we want to continue. For that purpose we use labeled for loop. So syntax is label, which is a name of for loop, and the same for initialization, condition, increment and decrement, and the block of code. Okay, so let's see an example. Here we are discussing about a program about the labeled for loop. So we create a class labeled for example, create a main method, and in this main method what we defining a for loop. For this for loop we defining a label. You can see defining a name for loop. Here the outer for loop name is AA, suppose we have defined, and again we define a for loop, inner for loop, and inner for loop name is BB or label is BB. And in some condition, like when the value of I is 2 and value of j is 2, break AA. Break AA means it will break the execution of outer for loop. When this condition is become happened, when this condition is true, it will break the outer loop. As soon as outer loop is break, the control comes from the outer block and the no execution is happened now. Okay, rest of the code will be executed which is not part of the outer for loop. So the output of this program will be 1 1 1 2 and 1 3. Why? Because for this I equal to 1, this for I equal to 1, the inner loop will execute 3 times, because this condition is false for I equal to 1. So 3 output, this output will come for value of I equal to 1. But as you soon value of I equal to 1, I equal to 2, so here it will check I equal to 2 is correct, but for the first iteration of inner block, when the j value is 1, j equal to 2 is false, so it will print value of I2 and value of j 1. So the output is 2 and 1. But as soon as at the next iteration, when the I value is 2 and j value is 2, it break the outer loop. As it break the outer loop, control comes from the outer for loop. This one control comes here. So after control comes here, it will execute rest of the code and print the whatever in this code. So let's I show you on Eclipse IDE. So first we are creating a Java class, name class labeled for loop. Okay, finish. And what I am doing here, I am copying the nested for loop example from here, because basically it is a nested for loop, but just we are giving the name for that. Okay, so outer for loop I have given the name AA colon, and for inner loop I have given the name BB colon, and I am printing this value in if condition if I equal to 2 and j equal to 2. Then it break the outer loop. Sorry, then break AA. Okay, now Control S and save. So this is the whole program you can see here, and as you run this program, the output is 1 1 1 2 1 3 and 2 1. Okay, I hope you understand the labeled for loop. Now go for the next thing in labeled for loop. If you use break bb, it will break inner loop only, which is the default behavior of any loop. Here you can see, if we are just changing one thing, break bb. In previous example we are breaking the outer loop, now we are breaking inner loop. If we are breaking inner loop, so only one value will not printed, which is 2 and 2, otherwise all the value will be printed. So in the output you will see 2 2 is not printed, because as you the condition I equal to 2 and j value is 2, the condition will true, it break the inner loop, so the value of I or j will not printed. Control directly jump to the outer block, then check the condition, if condition is true then comes in inner loop. So 2 2 value is not printed here, otherwise all the values will be printed here. So this is the example of breaking inner loop. So let's I show you on here as well. Okay, now run. Simply you can see 2 2 is not printed, otherwise all the value is printed, all the value is printed. Okay, so all the value is printed here. So Java infinite for loop, so it is a very simple. If you use two semicolons in the for loop, it will become infinite for loop. This is an example. If you means, what is the meaning of infinite loop? If you are not initializing any variable and you are not checking with any condition, then that for loop will become infinite for loop. Okay, so here is an example for Java infinite for loop. Just a simple for semicolon, and you are trying to print in something, like I'm printing infinite loop. As you run this program, it will print infinite times, whatever you print. To stop the execution of infinite for loop, you need to use Control C. You just press a Control C, so the JVM will exit from the program and it will terminate the program. Let's I show you on Eclipse ID how infinite loop. Okay, let's see a class infinite for loop. Create a new class in infinite loop. For just a simple thing, nothing do much, print syso infinite loop. As you run this program, you can see it is printing infinite loop for infinite times. If you want to stop it, either you can stop it by just press this red button, which is terminate, or you can use Control C. Okay, so now go for the next thing. So friend, this is a very long videos, but it is very important for the for loop, because most of the time we use a for loop. So thank you for watching this video, but keep hands on the practicals whatever I am teaching you here. So it will make your confidence on programming as well. I am teaching conceptual and with practical, so hands on your own to become master in Java. So thank you for watching this video lecture. In this video lecture we have learned about all things about the for loop. There is nothing remains in the for loop. In the next video we will learn a while loop. So I will go in detail of while loop. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and watch my next video which is on while loop. So thank you for watching this video. Watch my next video for learning new things in Java.